What are you bidding on?
It's magic cards, man.
Magic cards. Okay.
Magic cards.
Magic cards. How long's left?
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
It's the countdown.
We could make them wait 4 minutes.
We could do.
Or we could start talking.
I thought we already had.
Yeah, okay. Should we do a countdown? 3, 2, 1. Hello! And welcome to another episode of We're Not Wizards. This is episode 9.
Ooh.
9 of 49.
49 now.
40, well, we're kind of being clumped. But it's our first anniversary.
It is.
It's our anniversary week. So congratulations to you, Colin.
Congratulations, Richard.
We're shaking hands, and that is our hands. So this episode can only be called one thing, which is the big happy anniversary show with us both. Because that's good grammar. So, how are you doing?
I'm alright, apart from my illnesses. And...
yes. But this isn't a health and well-being podcast.
No, we don't care about that.
This is a sociopathic podcast, so we don't care about your feelings or how you are or anything like that.
Forever alone.
Forever. Me cry. Watching those tears. You good though?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, enough about caring. Let's talk some cardboard. Now, people might be confused, but there is a reason that we do this. And the reason that we do this is because there's quite simply not enough podcasts about board games.
There isn't. I've looked.
There definitely isn't. Don't bother looking either. and the other reason that we do this is there's just not enough podcasts with two guys. No. Definitely not.
It's a dying art form.
It is. Kind of. A little bit. So we're here to talk. It's us back again.
Mm.
And I think a year ago we had pressed the button and we were wondering what was happening with kind of like people downloads and stuff like that. And
your mic's rubbish.
Your mic rubbish, and you're not leaning into the mic.
Our mic wasn't rubbish. We just didn't know how to use the software. We just had no idea what we were doing, so now we're back. But we have been playing some games. Mm-hmm. As long as those games don't involve resource management in a potential 1920s battlefield with big mechs and start with the letter S and end in the letter E. Because we've not really had enough chance to play Scythe. Twice.
But we've not...
And we got 4 turns in?
Yeah, something like that. So we're going to play it. So what we're going to do is we have been playing some other games, but in the next couple of weeks we are going to do a little special on we're going to talk about Scythe and actually say what we think. It's not going to be a special, it's just going to be another episode.
Oh.
What? Are you not coming back? Is he going to try? Oh, it's been a year. Well, it's been a good time. Let's stop. Oh, what's happening? Because Colin's currently bidding on some magic cards, so we're just having a look.
50 seconds to go.
50 seconds to go. See when it gets to the count. We can do the countdown theme tune.
I'm waiting for the guy to gazump me, and he's not gazumped me yet.
Is he not? So, the tension is absolutely crazy. So we'll wait. No, we're gonna keep going. We have been playing some games. We have been playing some cardboard, and one of the games that we have been playing is Zolkin.
Yes, we played it once.
And it's a game by the Czech Game Company. Mm-hmm. Who I heard they've done a couple of lovely games. I was hearing about a game called Alchemists, which is apparently quite good. And they also did Codenames as well, which everybody's heard.
Everyone loves Codenames.
So, how are we going? Oh, it's ended!
Yeah.
And did you win the magic cards?
Yeah, I did.
Yay! So, Zolkin is about... it's to do with the Aztecs, isn't it, Colin?
It is, yeah. It's a heavy Euro game.
Yes. We've spoken about various types of Euro games in the past and how they kind of work around a central kind of mechanic with a view that you have an ability to score points and thus kind of win the game.
Yeah, points are everything.
Points are everything. But Zolkin is one of these games where it's kind of like there's so much going on that click together quite well that kind of are like complicated and feel restrictive, but once you kind of get halfway into the game and you understand, as per normal, what you're meant to be doing, even the wee light bulb went off in my head with this one, and it went off a little bit better than the light bulb in Colin's head, because the light bulb in Colin's head was submersed very slightly in alcohol at the time.
There was about 3/4 of a litre bottle gone here by that time.
We played at a birthday party, basically. It was the best way to have a birthday party, surrounded by board games.
It was a lovely birthday. A lovely birthday for me, and it wasn't even my birthday.
It was. You seemed like you were having a very. You seemed like you were having a very, very good time. But back to Zolkin. It is a game where basically you play a tribe.
Well, it's sort of like competing factions.
Yes.
In the sort of like Aztec.
Yes. The kind of the different Aztec kind of factions.
And it's all built round the idea of the Mayan calendar.
Yes.
So
how they represent the movement of time in the Mayan calendar. Now this is I've seen some set up for some games in my time, and some of the components are amazing. But what you've got here is you've got like a moving clock type structure.
Yeah, it's like one big disc.
Yes.
And when it rotates, it's got gears on it, so it moves all the other discs. And there's like 4 other discs attached to the main.
And when you move it,
it's all lovely, sculptured like a big Mayan calendar. It's glorious.
It's lovely, and that takes the centerpiece. So when you open it and you first look at it, you're like, "This is very cool." When you set it up, it's even cooler. And the idea is that basically, around each kind of circular rotating cog, you've got sections. It's like divided into sectors. And the idea of what you do is that you get little guys, little workers, and you place them at almost like the beginning. And as they rotate round, they rotate, and you get offered kind of different things that you have. So you've got things like
the longer you keep them on, the better
the reward.
The reward. Sometimes.
Yes. But you can collect things like wood. You can collect things like grain as well. And that's kind of like your main. They become like your main currency. You can go and you can collect other things, minerals as well. You can also collect these fabulous, or work towards working to these fabulous kind of blue crystal skulls.
Yes.
So anyone that did see the unintended Indiana Jones film.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what I'm talking about either, but you've got these fantastic little playing pieces which are in the shape of beautiful kind of Mayan crystal skulls, which look fantastic. And they operate round their own little wheel, because that's kind of the wheel that you really want to end up kind of getting to, because that's where some of the points can come in.
Yeah, it's one of the places where you can generate points.
Yes.
There is a whole other sub-game in the game.
Yes, there is. And this is like you're thinking so far. It's like, well, this sounds complicated. I get on like a roundabout. I get a little bit dizzy. I jump off. I grab some grain and some wood. And then I score some points. Well, you would think so. But then on the right side of the board, you've got sectors which basically allow you to change what you're doing. They add kind of...
There's sort of 2 other main sections to the game.
Yes.
And one of the sections is 3 other sections.
There's 4.
Things are yeah, there might be.
There potentially
is
7.
There's how you're doing with the gods, how much tribute you've been giving the gods.
Yes.
Is one little sub
division of the game, which gives you points.
Yes, it does. You've got to climb up the Tower of Righteousness, essentially, and depending, you even got different lanes to the Tower of Righteousness. So depending on which lane you climb up, you get different bonuses.
Yep.
And then underneath that, you've got a table which basically has different sections which you can travel across from left to right.
Yep.
And that essentially allows you to gather kind of certain bonuses, and it has effects on how you do things, how much it costs to buy something, and it also has an effect on kind of rewards that you get as well. And then on top of that, as if that wasn't enough, and dear listener, it's perfectly fine to pause the podcast now, go and get yourself a nice little drink, and come back again, because not only that, you've got the ability to buy kind of buildings.
Well, you've got the technologies first.
Yeah, just more and more.
The column, another column is how technologies affect your different abilities. So it's how fast and how many resources you need to do all the other actions.
Yeah.
And then you have
you have your ability to build your monuments, and you have your ability to build your your buildings as well, and those kind of go towards kind of again, it's kind of how you can score,
how you garner more resources,
how you get more workers, and that sounds like a lot to digest, Colin.
It was.
It was a lot to digest.
Luckily, when we sat down and played, we had a guy who was fairly expert at the game.
I think
he played lots of it.
He'd actually said that he knew people that had played in tournaments with this game.
Yeah.
So it's one of these things is I think if we'd sat down with the rules, we would have maybe been a bit scared, and it would have reached for Mr. YouTubes to see if we could find find ourselves a friendly video. But I'm
really glad we had him to sit down and play the game.
It was fantastic, because he shepherded us through, he's shown us the right path, and he's shown us the way forward, which was absolutely fantastic. But it's one of these games that once you kind of get the basics, it does, as we say, kind of click in. In terms of how it looks.
Oh, it looks brilliant!
It's beautiful looking.
I've seen on Board Game Geek where people have painted the Mayan calendar, so it looks like a painted bit of Mayan statue. It's like, wow, that's kind of groovy.
And then each of the sections of the artwork themselves look. I mean, I'm just gonna. To remind ourselves, but you've got like a.
Oh, you just put that up on the webcam.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's for everybody now looking at the live feed. But you've got your set. Oh, look, that's where they put the tokens.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
It does make an awful lot more sense. But you've got like your individual workers that you place down, and they kind of go in these massive cogs, and as things move round, they've moved round to the different sectors. Then on the bottom right hand side, you've got all your monuments and buildings, and then you've got your technology hub above that, and then you've got your temple situation above that, and then for each of the cards as well, you've got there's costs for placing people down on the boards to begin with, so you've kind of got a bit of a risk reward. Do you continually just place guys on the basic of the basic?
Well, the core of the game is. You either must withdraw someone from the table, or you must play someone to the table.
Yes.
A worker to the table.
Yes.
So you've always got to be planning, this turn I'm going to place this guy down, next turn I'm going to withdraw him, next turn I'm going to place this guy down, and in that sort of fashion on each of the turns. And then it was every... 6 turns, or was it slightly longer than that?
It was every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every 7th.
Every 7th.
You had to feed everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody just sat. It wasn't like they might have been made of wood.
And that was also your points round as well.
Yes. And what you had to do is you had to make sure you had enough food in the place as well. So it stopped people from being able just to race away and get to the highest technology as possible.
Yeah.
So that kind of, you had that kind of, do I do this, do I do that?
Yep.
It does look stunning, and it is one of the most unusual games I've really seen in terms of playability. It wasn't the kind that it wasn't as complicated as it first started out. It took a while to get into it.
It wasn't, but like you were saying, if I was sitting down with just the rule book, we would have been there for 3-4 hours just trying to work out the rules.
Yeah, in fact, we actually ended up getting a full game played in, what was it, about an hour and a half?
It wasn't long, was it? No.
I mean, I was expecting it to be a long shift, but we actually got it done within about...
It seemed to just go like a flash for me.
Well,
I had about 4 drinks in that time. So.
It was just a haze. Did you win, Colin?
No, I didn't win. I did not win.
No. Where did I come in this?
I think you bet me.
I think I did. Does that mean that I like the game?
I think Leo bet me as well because I was playing Leo once Leo left.
Yeah. And being your competitive self, you were in that horrific kind of snake eating its own tail quandary where you wanted to win, so you ended up beating yourself to get through. So it was quite... I just remember you looking a face of pure guttedness as you kind of went, I've just beaten myself. It goes for about, usual places, 50 quid, 40, 50 quid. You'll probably be able to pick it up an awful lot cheaper. In terms of how it looks, as we say, it looks stunning. It's worthwhile just having a look, just to have a look at how a board game can be.
There's lots of board game there. And there's lots of learning the board game.
Yes, there is.
And there's multiple different ways of winning the game. It's very nice that way. There's lots of different ways to generate points. So you're not stuck with the same tactic every single time you play the game.
No, I liked it. I would definitely play it again. I would. Yeah. I think now that I know the basics behind it.
Same here.
It would be getting back into the tactics. So that is. So We're Not Wizards. We recommend it. We give it a couple of thumbs up and a wee couple of random stars. Eight stars.
8 stars.
8 out of whatever. I don't know what that's out of. It doesn't even have to be out. Don't give me that face. It doesn't have to be out of anything. It's just
8 out of 50. That's mean.
Oh, I was going to think of 8 out of 100. I didn't want to make anybody cry. The next game that had been played, I played it very briefly and we didn't get very far on it, but you and Mr. Leo, hello Mr. Leo, but you played a game recently with Mr. Leo, which is Death or Victory.
Yes. Which
is by the Plastic Soldier Company.
Yes.
And for people who aren't aware of who the Plastic Soldier Company are, the Plastic Soldier Company make a game that me and Colin love very much, which is Quartermaster General, which we like an awful lot. And taking along the same kind of lines and but a completely different theme is Death or Victory.
Death or Victory.
What's it about? What's the message?
It's about the Peloponnesian War.
Whoa! Oh! I knew it. You were in the mirror. Yeah, boy. You were in the mirror going like that. Peloponnesian. I didn't realise. I thought you were like doing breathing exercises or something like that.
No, dear God.
I didn't realise you were practicing. Right, so it's about the...
Well, it's about Sparta v Athens in the old... the sort of wars that they had back in the time, which is
1960s or something.
Yes,
pretty close. Pretty close.
Yes,
before tea time.
In your childhood. Yes.
Thank you. There'll be certain people out there that'll be laughing themselves silly about the fact of being referenced as being quite old. The idea of the game is to conquer.
No,
is it not? Is it not. Points again?
It is all about the points. I'm just
such a silly, aren't I?
But it's how you get the points.
Right, I'm interested in this because we didn't get very far again. So do you want to... I'm going to step back a bit, and if you want to tell the good people what it's all about.
Well, it's it's sort of area control. It takes an awful lot from the game it's come from, which is Quartermaster, which was based around World War II.
Yes.
And was very much asymmetrical. So there was 5 factions in that game. In Victory or Death, there's only 4 factions.
Yeah.
It plays a lot faster taking that 5th faction out.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, the core of the game is you're trying to build cities and expand your empire, and you're also trying to cripple your opponent.
Okay.
And the asymmetrical of the game is the Spartans are very, as per history, are very militaristic, and their way of generating points is by killing the opponents. The Athenians are sort of the reverse. Their whole strategy is around their naval power.
Yeah.
And they have an awful lot of things that will generate them points if they have navies in certain areas.
Are they kind of like Japan was and the UK was in Quartermaster General? A little bit more? No. I should just shut up.
Every faction in the game,
yeah,
because of the new mechanics, plays similar to the Japanese played.
Ah, okay.
So all factions in Quartermaster, there was the Japanese, and they were very difficult to play because all of their sorry, I'm jumping ahead of explaining the game.
That's fine. I've written down also Death or Victory instead of Victory or Death.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know if I can't remember if I said Death or Victory. But as you know, this is a year on, and if it wasn't me actually saying something bloody stupid in the show, then you'd think I'd been replaced by a robot. Anyway, moving on.
Body Snatchers.
That's a good film.
Yes, so you have the different factions. There's 4 factions. There's the Athenians, the Spartans, the Delphinian League, and the Corinthians, who were...
There's a lot of big words in this.
Yes, yeah. If you're familiar with Greek history, then you'll go, oh, right, yeah, totally.
Of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, the Delphinian Leagues, their whole basis is about generating points. They have so many cards that just generate points and points and points. That's how Leo beat me in the game.
Oh, you never said that.
Yeah, I never said that.
You never said that. Okay, that kind of puts an interesting twist on things.
Yeah, and the Corinthians are sort of the anti-them, if you know what I mean. They have an awful lot of cards to muck up the Delphinians.
Yeah,
so But each faction plays completely different when you're sitting down and playing it, and that's the beauty of the game for me. Mm-hmm. And the replayability value of the game of each faction is so different. How the actual game mechanics work is you have a deck of cards.
Right.
And you draw 10 cards, and then you have to scrap 3 cards, so you only ever have a hand of 7.
All right.
And with that hand, you play a card. Mm-hmm. That's your action. Mm-hmm. And depending on what that card says is what you do that turn. So if it's land battle, then one of your soldiers or one of your boats fights a land location. Yeah. If it's navy battle, then 2 fleets will fight, and you just remove the opponent. There's no dice rolling or anything.
No, it's just, automatic win if you've got the card there.
But the beauty of the game is there is specialized cards for each deck.
Yeah.
So you have things called status cards.
Yes.
And they are a card you place down, and it's out in front of you for the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. And you always have the effect of that card.
Yes.
So in the case of some of the things... will give you victory points if you can. I was playing Sparta, so I had a card that whenever I remove an enemy piece from the board, I get a victory point. So I basically just stood killing my opponents for most of the turns to try and get victory points.
So it's like a case of building up kind of modifiers and game changers in order to change to make the board kind of like your own, yeah?
Ish.
Yeah.
The other thing about the game is you have a thing called a prep card now. Mm. And that is using the same mechanic that the Japanese had in the original Quartermaster game.
Yeah.
And that is a card where you discard a card and you get to play this prepared card face down.
All right.
And whenever something, there'll be something written on the card that will say, if an enemy hoplite attacks one of your hoplites, reveal this card.
Yeah.
And if you reveal that card, you then follow the text, and the text might be, ambush, you actually kill the attacking army.
Oh, cool, okay.
And things like that.
So like reaction cards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because you had reaction cards in Quartermaster General.
But it was mainly, that's what the Japanese force was built around.
Yeah.
And again, each deck, each deck of cards that each of the factions has a completely different amount of these cards in it.
Yeah.
So I think the Spartans have 36 cards.
Yes.
And about 9 of them are land battled cards.
Yeah.
And 6 of them are muster cards, and all the rest are the prepping cards and everything.
Yeah.
And then Andy, he was playing Athens.
Oh, right. Okay.
And he had this huge deck of 35 cards. And basically that means you've got more options.
Yeah.
And you're not going to run out of cards, so he could play more prep cards than I could play.
Yeah.
Because every time you play a prep card, you're discarding a card to play that prep card.
Yeah.
So if I played a lot of prep cards, I'm going to run out of my deck faster, and then I'm going to have no cards.
Yeah.
And I'll be sitting, not able to do anything in the last
because
turns of the game.
Am I right in saying that you start to basically shed victory points once you're running out of your deck?
As soon as you can't play a card, you lose a victory point. And opponents can play cards to make you have to play a card or discard a card. So if say you've ran out of your deck and someone plays a discard 4 cards and you can't discard any cards, you lose 4 cards. You lose 4 victory points. And if at the end of any turn, one of the factions, because it's broken down into Sparta and Corinthians are the oligarchy.
Yes.
And the...
I've heard that before.
And modern politics, we're not allowed to mention that.
We don't talk about it.
And the Athenians and the Delphinian League are the demos, because they're representing the Greek city-states that took on democracy, and the Spartans are like, no, rule of might.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes. It looks clean, crisp.
Yep.
The artwork is decent on the cards. I really like the artwork.
Yeah.
The board is up to kind of plastic soldiers usual standard.
It's functional. It's all good. Yeah.
These are guys that have managed to get themselves a decent set of mechanics.
The game's a beautiful idea.
Oh, they're tweaking it and they're changing it all the time now, and it's almost like they've got a confidence behind them that they've then looked back into the history books and said, okay, they did their World War I version of Quartermaster General.
That was their latest Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Was the World War I game.
And then obviously they've then gone ahead and they've brought out this little beauty. It looks, as I say, it's a lovely looking game. And it also helps if I pronounce what it's actually called, but it is Victory or Death.
It's Quartermaster General, Victory or Death,
well, there you go.
The Peloponnesian War.
Oh, is it? All right, okay. You're bringing in that in again. Okay. You just have to keep saying it. It looks like you can get it for about £28.
If you shop around, yeah.
Yes. It looks nice. It plays... Again, it's one of these games you've got to get into it to understand it fully.
Once you sit down and play it once, you'll always have that wee light bulb when you go, all right, totally.
This is what we do.
And then you have the joy of each of the 4 different factions plays completely different. It's the same game, but you have a completely different feel playing each of the different factions. Okay. They are that asymmetrical. It's not mirrored. The way I was describing it kind of sounds mirrored.
Yeah.
But Corinth and the Delphinians play completely different.
It's very, very kind of It's everything is their own skill set. If you've played Quartermaster General before, you'll understand what we're talking about. It's like asymmetrical in terms of the types of powers. There's no kind of massive head off between two powers. So and
the reason why it's called Quartermaster General, I should have mentioned this, is everything is about supplying your armies. If you can't supply your armies, they all die.
Go. Yeah.
And to supply them, there's got to be a route from your supply zone in this game, your cities. There's got to be a route from your city to your soldier. And if there isn't a route to your city, soldier, or boat, they die. Because when we were playing the game with Andy, I was able to get a fleet round Athens. Because I thought he would kill that fleet straight away. And then he just looked at me with bitterness in his eyes. And he had to remove all of his fleets off the table. It was about 4 fleets he had to take off. It was like, I didn't realise. Sorry, man.
Did you grin?
A wee bit.
Did you? But Leo won.
Oh, Leo, he got this amazing combination of 2 status cards that if he had a city in this zone and he had a fleet defending this zone, and because of those 2 cards, he was getting like 7 victory points a turn.
Whoa.
And the best amount of victory points we'd been able to do on my side was 5.
Oh, well.
So we were in the lead till about turn 9, and then the scoring round at turn 9, he just
went away.
Yeah.
So, if you see it, victory or death.
I think it's a good game.
Pick it up.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Pick it up.
And
we'd like to see, actually, if you're listening, Plastic Soldier Company, come on, have a chat with us.
Yeah, why not?
We'd love to get you on. Let's have a chat about your games, because we love your games. So, the next game that I've been playing, and we've not been doing segues, but why not? I was thinking you were possibly reading my mind, potentially using the Force?
The Force?
The Force. I don't know. Did you think
Do we have enough copyright to actually mention this?
I don't know. I think it could be our destiny to end up in front of the courts. But speaking of destiny...
We didn't mean it. We didn't mean it.
You'll be alright. One of the games I've been playing recently is Star Wars Destiny, and I've been playing it a lot with James, my boy, because I got for Christmas I got the Kylo Ren set,
right,
and he got the Rey set, and he also got a Kylo Ren set as well. So he comes round, he brings his Rey set, and I play the Kylo Ren set, so we play together. Basically, Star Wars Destiny.
So you don't have Kylo v Kylo?
Not yet.
You killed my father.
No, whose father did you kill? Whose father? Did he just potentially almost crash his plane?
Does he have 6 fingers on his left hand?
Did you not think when, just as a quick aside, did you not think when Harrison Ford kind of had his plane crash, there would have been a group of people that would have went, "Oh no, what's going to happen to Han Solo now?"
Oh no.
It's like, nothing.
Nothing.
He's not in the film now. He's not coming back either. What? It's been a year. It's been 2 years now.
God.
What?
The spoilers.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
The Force is strong with the spoilers. Anyway, Star Wars Destiny is, in essence, a dice rolling, very kind of like a Dice Mastery type game where
I've not seen anything about it.
You get character cards, and you also get support cards, you get event cards, and you also get almost like sidekick type cards. So, for instance, you'll have, in the Kylo Ren deck, you'll have Kylo Ren, who's seen as a main character, and then you'll have like a supporting stormtrooper. And what's interesting is each of the characters, they have their own dice. And depending, some of them will have 2 dice, some of them will just have 1 dice. But then you also get equipment for the characters as well. So, for instance, the Stormtrooper can have like a grenade that is a card with its own dice.
Wow.
Or a blaster.
He's so
which
accurate.
Is a card.
Why would he need a grenade?
You ever seen the pictures of the stormtroopers at paintball? You ever seen that?
Immaculately white?
It's absolutely. Stormtroopers come back from the paintball day. They're just like all totally like they stepped out of a Daz advert. You know what I mean? This isn't the washing machine you're looking for. But the idea of the game is quite simple. Is that you have you have resource tokens which allow you to buy cards and place them. Mm-hmm. You have a deck of cards which you draw from.
Yep.
So every round you draw up to 5 cards,
mm-hmm.
and then you'll have energy. And then what you do is you'll have your main characters. Now you play a card. To play a card, you've got to use resources to play a card. Yeah. And then what that does is that essentially allows you to have your card on the deck ready to go. You get 2 resources every round for free.
Right.
But then once you place your cards and they're played, then if they have dice available, those dice are also become available. They get stuck on your card ready to be rolled. It's interesting. You're only allowed 1 action per turn. So that could be preparing the dice itself, which allows you roll the dice, and then it sticks. So some of the dice have got like, for instance, if it's like say Kylo Ren, he's got like a special attack, and the special attack's on his card. Yeah. But he's also got like a 2 melee attack. He's got like maybe a disruptor, which allows you to remove somebody else's your opponent's resources. Right. Or other examples are you'll actually have the ability to gain resources. You'll have the ability to get people to discard cards. Yeah. But you're only allowed to use 1 action per turn. Mm-hmm. So you end up in the situation where once you've rolled the dice, they'll sit there and you put them in like above your card. Yeah. And then you're allowed to kind of like trade those, basically use those dice in order to use the move. So if you've rolled like a melee attack at 2 on Kylo, then what you'll do in the next turn, you're allowed to use that dice up and thus attack for kind of 2. Or if you've got an energy resource, you're allowed to bring that back in and get that energy kind of resource. So every round you're allowed to do 1 action, or you can attack, or you can use a support card. But it's every single time it's kind of like 1 action. So it allows you to basically, you got to decide every single turn what you're going to be doing. Uh-huh. It's the other thing you can do is each of the, every round you decide, at the very beginning of your entire game, you decide the battlefield where you're actually going to be fighting on. Yeah. And the battlefield gets placed to one side. And then at any point in the game, one of you can claim the battlefield, which means that you get to use the special action which is on the battlefield card, but you're not allowed to take any more turns. That's you finished. Basically, you continue playing until you basically use up all of your dice movement for that turn, or you can't bring any more cards into play. Mm-hmm. You don't have any more actions. Then once both people pass, then you basically you move on to the next round. You reset everybody. Every card that was it's normal. You kind of tap your cards as you kind of use them. All the tapping gets reset. You get damage tokens as well because everybody's got like life points. So Kylo Ren's got life points. Rey's got life points. Finn's in there as well. The stormtroopers. And once somebody's wiped out, that's it. They're out the game. They can't come back in. It's quite. It's beautiful to look at. The dice are huge and chunky. I'm talking about dice that are about that big, as he points to the camera. They're probably about 2 centimeters across. I mean, these are big chunky dice, and they've got beautiful kind of stickers with little bits of artwork on them on the actual dice itself. So they're really kind of nice looking.
So that's about
what?
2/3 of an inch for American friends?
Yes. Yes, it is 2/3 of an inch, because an inch is about 2.5 centimetres. So the American guys are going, how big is that? How big is that dice? It's about the size of a small dog. That's 2 centimetres. That's how you measure horses. So a horse that's 5 centimetres high.
Right.
That's huge horse.
Wow.
So these dice that are 2 centimetres, you need to actually roll them with both hands. That's how big. That's not true. That's just complete lies. It's about an inch. They're about 3/4 of an inch wide. It's balanced in terms of knowing how to say this. In the games that I've played, and I've played against Andy as well, and it's the normal thing as if
he wiped the floor with you.
I had the chance to wipe the floor with him as well. We had a balanced game, but it depends sometimes who plays Ray, because Ray she's a relatively quite powerful character.
Is there more than just these 4?
Well, you've got Ray, you've got Finn, but then you bring in your booster packs. And I've not mentioned the booster packs quite simply because we've not gone out and bought any. Right, okay. You know,
You've just stayed there.
I've just stuck with the core game just now. Quite simply for the fact that it's enough. You can rip it open, you can get it set up within about 5 minutes at the most, and you can get playing within 5 minutes. And for me and for James, that's kind of perfect. You can buy booster packs. Obviously the booster packs are kind of random.
Is it just the Force Awakens characters, or is it?
I think at the moment it started off with the Force Awakens, but they've gone back into it. Yeah, did you almost say Star Trek?
Yeah.
Did you? Live long and prosper.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be fantastic.
You've got your.
I'm putting down Chewbacca. Who you playing? I'm playing Sulu.
Picard.
It's the Picard.
Picard.
The line must be drawn here.
Oh, great!
You want this? It's a secret. Oh, you might as well bring the X-Men in if you bring the Picard in.
Or
Locutus of Borg.
Locutus of Borg. I'm Locutus of Borg. I've been stuck on this starship for some time, but the line must be drawn here.
Oh, great.
Shall we move back into Star Wars again?
Okay.
Well, you said Star Trek. You messed it up, sir.
And they call him Paul Muad'Dib.
What is the movement of the third place of the third phase of the fourth moon of the...
What is the small mouse on the second moon called?
Why has it got blue eyes? It is because of the spice.
Big Major Boa.
Spice is life. Oh my goodness. Where have we gone? We've gone everywhere. Anyway, yes, you can play the original characters in the booster packs, and that obviously opens it up to the entire universe of Star Wars. So there will be, no doubt, bounty hunters and everything like that.
Wow.
In all honesty, I've not kept up with it because I know if I wanted to keep up with it, then I'd be...
Is it Lucky Dip Booster? Is it? Oh, right.
It is. And you and me have been here with Dice Masters before, and we know how that ended up. You end up spending a fortune on them to say it's back to being back at school again with the flipping football album. Got.
Yeah.
Need. And you end up having like 52 Spider-Men.
Well, this day and age you have eBay.
I suppose you do have.
I want
eBay.
him, and I want that dice.
It does look good. I mean, presentation-wise, it's a lovely looking game, and the artwork's very good. It's very, very fun. It depends again how far you want to go down the rabbit hole.
Right.
I think I've consciously made the decision not to get into the booster packs because you can quite easily go out and spend a lot of money.
Is it like Magic with the booster packs?
Yes.
Have you looked it up online? Is it very much pay to win, or?
No. I think
can you just make a deck which is just so much better than anything else? Or
I think that
is it balanced, or?
I think it can be balanced because you've got the dice there. It can be random, so it's quite easy to kind of like turn around. I know. It's fine, though.
I love Dice Masters, though.
Dice Masters was really like...
It's only us that got into it, though.
I know, that was a shame. No. But, you can get them everywhere now, so it's fine. It's fine. We really liked it. We had a lot of fun with it, and we're continuing to have a lot of fun with it. Will we delve into the booster packs? Probably not, because James likes Pokemon a lot, and he's been down the route with Pokemon as well. You know, Magic, I've still not played Magic.
Haven't you?
Do you hear that, Brian Wade? I've still not played Magic. Not even once. That's Brian.
Oh, I just bought some Magic cards.
I know you bought some Magic cards. You're going to have to teach me how to play Magic. It's not that good. Anyway, Star Wars Destiny, you can pick up the core set for about, I think it's about 18... I think it's about £18 or something like that for a basic set, if not more. It's very, very good fun, and we like it a lot. The last game we want to mention is, and this is a game that I played by myself. No, not that game. That's a different game. That's my happy card time. It's Sans Elite. Now, ages and ages ago, I mean a year ago, Mr. Jeffrey Greer was typing away on a DM on Twitter, saying, like the show, maybe if you changed it to a no, like the show, but we need you to watch out for your volume because it could be a bit higher. And then he brought out his Kickstarter, Sans Elite, and then we got it, and then I've been playing it. And for those who aren't aware of it, it's like it's a pyramid solitaire game where the idea is you build a pyramid of cards laid down. So you lay down the top card, which is the enemy base, and then 2 below that, you cover up half the card deck, and then 3, 4, all the way down until you get about 8, I think it's 8 cards at the bottom. And the idea is the different cards have different properties. So you get land, you get water, you get mountains. And the idea, and you also get research bases as well. And the idea is that you have, in your hand, you have like an attacking hand. And you have like planes, you have basically land vehicles, you have infantry. And your idea is that in order to conquer the land, you need to have the right amount of resources in order to basically take that card off of the pile of the pyramid and allow you to move up and continue up the pyramid. The idea is basically there will be points where the enemy is building basically the ultimate weapon. And you have to stop the enemy from building the ultimate weapon, because at any point, if he reaches the point where he builds the ultimate weapon, you lose the game. So your idea is you draw your deck, you allocate the deck into different piles according to the type of unit that they are, and then each of the units has a value. So, for instance, maybe an infantry unit is just worth 1 point. A boat unit is maybe worth 4 or something like that. But in order for you to take over, it says, well, maybe the points value in this card is, and the points value is at the side. The points value is maybe 13 points. So you've got to get enough points in order to basically claim that card and remove it. At the end of that, you've then got to... the excellent thing is, when you go to claim a land, once you've done that, you've got to... You roll a dice, and you roll 2 dice, and depending on what number you get, that tells you how many units you get to keep, how many units get destroyed, or whether you lose units, or whether you actually need to retreat. So there's a little bit of a risk-reward. But because of the medium of the dice, it means more than likely you'll just batter through and you'll lose the units that you've claimed. Sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll get to keep the units that you've claimed. Sometimes you'll be unlucky and you'll have to pay an extra unit back. You'll lose that extra unit as well. You'll get really unlucky and you'll lose. You'll lose that and you'll actually need to retreat back and you replace the card back. as you go, you also get to take over research facilities. As you take over a research facility, you get to upgrade what your units can do.
Right.
So, for instance, like there's an upgrade unit where it allows you to basically, that unit allows to play as any other unit as a different value.
Yeah.
There's ones which just really, really ramp up what the Navy does, so it allows you to really, really kind of very quickly take over other units. Once you do your check, you then have to roll a single dice to check where you are in terms of the research, because there's a little chitty that tells you how close the enemy base is to producing the ultimate weapon.
Right,
so it starts off at level 3, and then it goes up to level 4, and finally it goes up to level 5. So the idea is you've got to roll above that in order to stay safe. If you're at 3s and you roll a 4, you're fine. You know, the researchers move up. But as it moves up towards the 4s and 5s, the chances of the enemy after every attack getting towards its ultimate weapon, it increases.
How do you feel that affects the game?
It doesn't. I've played it.
With it having this, like random end.
It wasn't that bad, actually.
Wasn't that bad?
It was never in a case that I felt completely kind of. You never feel kind of done out because of the way that the dice rolls have been structured in terms of what you win and what you lose. As I say, most of the time when you're rolling a dice, it's like 6 to 8 means that you just lose the forces that you've committed.
Right.
So, and above that, you're kind of always gaining ones back, gaining an extra one. I mean, it's, and in terms, it's obviously unstructured on this side. It's up to 3. It's not bad. I mean, there was maybe a couple of times it was ramping up, but when you take a research facility, there's something that causes them to have like a setback, which means that they pull it back. So it's in your favour to actually target the research facilities because you can pull the enemy back. It really... I went into this kind of quite... How exciting can a solitaire game really be?
Well, I've been getting interested in solitaire games.
And it's like, how,
I don't know... there's a few I've got my eye on.
It's almost a case of if you know that you're potentially gonna lose, do you lose, or do you? Oh, I didn't actually play that dice kind of thing. Do you kind of fiddle it so that you win? But it's kind of structured in such a way that you never. There's dice in it, which means there's a random chance. But as I say, it's worked out, so it's not that bad. And there are ways to kind of always pull it back. It just depends on how tactical you want to play it. You can head straight for the prize, but the danger in heading straight for the prize is that you don't hit enough research facilities, so you don't upgrade enough of your units. So therefore, it becomes harder and harder because as you go up the pyramid, it costs more units or more unit points in order to take over areas.
Is it a set layout then?
No, it's the pyramid itself is random. So the actual places, the actual units, the actual geography that you'll have to overcome is random. And the research facilities can end up pretty much anywhere. You can get lucky and you can have a research facility sitting right there in front of you. That means you can upgrade your unit straight away. You could get maybe a bit unlucky with how it's been laid out, and you might not have research facilities until you've maybe up to the 2nd or 3rd level. But the mechanics are good enough that you get involved in it.
Right. Okay.
You don't kind of feel that you're being cheated particularly, or it's particularly unfair. But it is something you can't rush through. You kind of take your time. Because I sat down and I thought I'll have a quick game, but it did take me a good 45 minutes to get through it. But I enjoyed it. I did win, but I didn't cheat. Which is always good. So I did get through at the end and laid down. I think you've got to get like 20 odd points, 23 points just to get through.
Page 236, I can just say I won the lottery.
I know, exactly. Choose your own adventure time again. So, Sons Elite, if you go to passgo.net, I believe it's on sale for there. I'm not sure. I'll need to check if you can get it in the UK. I'm pretty sure that you could arrange shipping
to the UK, and this should be quite easy, but it's certainly worthwhile taking a look at. So that's what we got to the table. Getting off the shelf. What we're thinking. Scythe. It's going to be flipping Forge Wall all over again, isn't it? We're going to end up doing an apology episode, but we are going to get Scythe played in the next couple of weeks, and we are going to talk about it. But I got hold of Escape from Colditz, so I'd like to give that a shot potentially, or Viticulture, which is all about wine making.
The exciting world of making wine.
The exciting world of making things wine.
Is it set in France or is it set in
Tuscany? Yes. I don't know if that's in France. I think it might
not
be.
Northern Italy?
Might be.
I could be completely wrong.
I don't know anything
I've
about wine.
Insulted 100 million people.
Oh well, they'll have to deal with it. You know, it's fine. I think we've got a listener in Italy.
Do we?
Not anymore. Oh. So what we're going to do is we're going to see how we get on, and we might play Viticulture or we might play Escape from Colditz. It's random.
Okay. Right.
That's how it is to go. As normal, so that's jumping in. That's what we'd like to get off the shelf. Kickstarters. Now, normally, what we do is we go into a big section about Kickstarters, but over the last couple of weeks, we have been speaking to a lot of people who have been running their own Kickstarter campaigns. So I'm going to mention them briefly. I'm not going to drone on about them. All I'm going to say, if you check into the We're Not Wizards back catalogue, all of these games have been covered in the last couple of days, last week at least. First one up is Subterra. Only talking about this because Subterra was run by Inside the Box Board Games, and they had a silly low target of about 16.5k, and I think they've romped in about, well, it ends tonight. In fact, it might be ending very, very soon, but they so far have romped in with about £327,000. So they've done pretty well. And me and Peter have done a series over the last couple of weeks just to, because it was like a developer diary type thing.
Oh, lovely.
Just to kind of talk about what he's been doing and what he's been up to. Right, let's just have a look at this. It is 2 hours to go. It's sitting at £350,000. It is apparently it's like the fourth or third highest backed UK Kickstarter game.
Nice.
So well done. And that was off a original target of £16,500. Look who's backed it. Aye, him.
Oh.
Yeah. Couple of other folk. But yeah, we've been having good chats. Well, we've been having good chats with Peter. And take a listen. The next two have been released in the last couple of days. The first one is Elements, which is Bad Cat Games. It's Justin Morgan Davies. Episode was out. It's about 2 episodes ago we had a good chat with Justin about his game. Very, very interesting game. Very, very interesting chap who had an interesting take on education and board games. It was a fascinating little listen, so check into that.
Take it he's dead set against it?
He thinks that they should be burned.
Yeah. No,
he doesn't. And last, but no means least, is we had Sarah Kennington from One Free Elephant on to talk about Awesome. We're not doing the Mork and Mindy joke because I did it at the end of the other episode. But they've just launched. They've just launched again. It is a mining game with the best looking little carts you get and ore, and again listen to the episode for more information on it. Just as a little bit of an update anyway. They have got a target of 4,000 and they're at 2,100, so they've got a good start. Elements launched today, and they are at 10% of their target. Their target's 12 grand and they're at 10% of it already. So we're again, listen to both these episodes, check them out, and as we always say,
check him out, take a look over the company before you lay your money down. Cause, as Colin will tell you. And 3D printers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, quick moving out to potentially the last bit of the show, because we've gone on for a little bit.
Have we? It was meant to be a quick one.
It was meant to be a quick one. I know. Just some shout outs. We've not asked for questions this week.
We didn't.
But we will do a big bumper episode of questions next time. We promise you, Nick, so you can say yes. Just a couple of shout outs very quickly. File Underwater is a podcast by Gary and Cole from Duckfeed TV. It's all about REM. They're into their second episode, and if you like REM at all, it's a very, very interesting listen. Gary and Cole...
movement.
The band.
Oh.
Yes. And they've been known for doing things like Bonfireside Chat and the likes.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of Dark Souls stuff. And they've gone into music, and they're both quite really, really passionate about the band, and it's a very interesting listen. If you like your Star Wars, if you like your Star Wars expanded universe fiction, and you fancy listening...
That's all not canon now,
It's not. It's called Legends now. If you fancy listening to people talk about and give it's almost like a book club where they'll select a book and they'll read over it. Mm-hmm. The last one was Kenobi, which I appeared on. So yes, I know, exciting. So it's Brian Wade, who is fantastic about Star Wars, and we just don't rate him at all when it comes to magic. But it's called Expanded Universe. You can find it if you search for Lucecast. It's Luke with 8 U's. Seriously. It's like Luke. It's fantastic. Big shout out to Polyhedron Collider, Steve, Andy and John. They do board game stuff as well. But they always claim to be ramshackle, but they're so much better. They're really quite good. Oh. I know, it's a shame. Andy will be coming on the show quite soon. Yes. Don't look at me like that. No, Andy from yes. I have to mention the man who is the worst, which is Jeremy Greer, who's currently doing about 20 million podcasts, including Monster of the Week, which is about supernatural. Dark Insight, which is about video games. He does that with Vader and Cliff and Joshua, who's also known as Morbid Beard, who are all fantastic people. And he also does Don't Give Up Skeleton, which is about Dark Souls. And Rank Everything, which is about, you've got Colin and Adam and Andrew all talking, and Adam as well, all talking about ranking everything from music to movies to food to video games. And it's a nice little interesting series. They've still got Guns N' Roses at number 1 as Appetite for Destruction as I know is the best album of all time, and they've got and they like Oasis as well. Well, Adam likes Oasis, and just
Anathema Alternate 4.
Yeah, I know. And finally, last but no means least, Mass Movie Side, which is Gary and For Trevor Alone, because every single time they do a show, they take the actual Michael out of us completely. Every single time, about us rolling dice. Don't cry, it's all right. Rolling dice and going nowhere near women. So,
well, they're half right. We don't roll dice.
We definitely don't roll dice. So it's all good. What have we got coming up? We have got some other interviews coming up over the next couple of weeks, as always. I've started playing D&D.
Have you?
Yes, I've started playing D&D, which I'm doing it kind of on an online thing with David Steele, who does the Steel Empire, and Nick Jones, Nick Jones, as well. And we're doing that.
Oh, excellent. Are you enjoying it? Do you see why I played so much of it?
Kiona, I think it's a lady by the name of Chaotic Anarchy. She's involved as well. It's we've just done our first session. And
Are you a complete noob?
I am a complete noob, but I managed to. I'm playing as an orc, a chaos orc, with low intelligence. He's called Poe.
Okay.
Potato. Don't you? What?
How high can you count?
4. What do you mean how high can I count? What's that supposed to be?
It's alright. Doesn't matter.
I don't matter. Alright, okay. Right, okay. Fine. And that's about it. I think that's the time to call it. We don't have questions this week because it's too...
No, what I would say is, for anyone in Scotland...
Yes.
There is a wee Comic-Con coming up quite soon.
Yes, there is.
The Dunfermline Comic-Con.
The Dunfermline Comic-Con, which is on the 11th of March. And its doors open at 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. You can get your tickets if you search for Dunfermline Comic-Con. And I think it's $7.50 for adults, and it's about £5. No, it might... Yeah. £5 for children to get in. There will be stalls there. There will be comic book artists. There will be people doing cosplay. There was a guy dressed up as Doctor Who last time. There was a guy dressed up as Iron Man last time. There was a guy selling Star Wars figures last time. It's run by Albie, who runs the Little Shop of Heroes, which is the local greatest little shop in the world in Dunfermline. So hello, Albie, because we know you. You do listen. That's good shout there, because I would have forgotten about that, and it is very, very soon, and we can't.
It's just in case we don't have another episode.
Just in case we don't have a bit, we are going to have another. We are going to have another episode.
Octoberish.
No, definitely not. We have plans. I think that's about it.
Yeah.
There's only a couple of things to do, and the first thing is to remember. I don't even know why I'm pointing at you.
You're getting quite passive-aggressive.
I know, I've stopped pointing. It's to remember that we are many things.
But we're not otters.
No, we've done this before.
Did I cack it up again?
Right, try it. We are many things, but...
We're not goldfish.
No! Right, I'm going to have to cut this out. Right, once more. We are many things, but...
We're not wizards.
We're definitely not wizards. Absolutely. Except that one time. Wade. Don't think I've forgotten it. So until next time, it's a goodbye from Colin.
And it's a goodbye from him.
So, goodbye. I'm going to do the... I am. Yeah.
No, he's not.
Goodbye. 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 Because it's our anniversary. Goodbye. See?